Welcome to Matrix Glitch, a channel devoted to exploring strange phenomena that seem to defy rational explanations. This is the channel where we'll dive deep into creepy tales of glitches in the Matrix, odd incidents that make us question reality and wonder if there are bugs in the simulation we call life. Today we have 3 such stories that foreshadow our orderly world may be far more chaotic than we ever imagined. But before we begin, remember to like and sub up, so you get that out of the way and we can run up the algorithm and grow the community. Let's make this the best community on YouTube. With that out of the way, our first story is called My Smoothie Cloned Itself. I tried a banana smoothie today from Trader Joe's, which I finished on the way home and tossed in my kitchen trash can. A few hours later, I started to make myself dinner and noticed the same smoothie in my fridge unopened. Since this was the first time I tried it, I grabbed the other container back out of the trash to figure out what on earth I drank on the way home. LOL. Same smoothie. I checked the receipt, and I only bought one. There was no drink in the fridge when I put the groceries away. I know this is rather boring in terms of glitches, but I cannot figure out where this thing came from. I don't live with anyone else. I would have checked the serial code on the back of the bottles to see if they matched. Let me know if you ever experienced an extra 6-pack in the fridge. Our second story is about a vehicle switching then switching back. My boyfriend and I both have our own vehicles. I drive a black Jeep, and he drives a white Escape. He was at work yesterday till 4:30 p.m., and I got off work around 11 a.m. and decided to go to my friend's house for a little bit. My friend came outside when I got to her house, and we walked into her house together. About 20 minutes later, I realized I left my cigarettes in the Jeep, so I went out to get them. As I walked out the door, I seen my boyfriend's white Escape, which I do drive a lot, sitting in the driveway. I was confused because it was about 1:30 p.m. and my friend lives 45 minutes away. I walked up to the Escape to see what he was doing there, and no one was in the car. I looked around and realized I didn't see the Jeep, so I took the keys out of my pocket to hit the lock button to make it make sound to see where it was, and I pulled out the keys to the Escape, which would have been impossible because my boyfriend took the Escape to work and we only have one set of keys for that car. I put the keys back in my pocket to run inside and ask my friend what car I pulled up in. She looked at me like I lost my mind and said I pulled up in the Jeep. I told her the Escape is in the driveway and not the Jeep. We went outside so I could show her, and the Jeep was back and the Escape was gone. She seen how freaked out I was, and we went to look at the security cameras from right before I pulled in to where my friend and I walked out her house again, and the camera wasn't working, which she claims has never happened. We sat outside till I left because if it was going to happen again, I wanted to see it happen. I ended up leaving an hour or so later, but I honestly was nervous to get in the car because I literally thought it was going to glitch out again, and I end up somewhere I don't want to be. This was one of the weirdest things I have had happen to me, and wouldn't believe it if it hadn't happened to me. Has anyone had something like this happen to them before? TLDR, drove my Jeep to my friend's house, went back out to get my cigarettes, and my boyfriend's car was there instead of mine. Went back in to get my friend and came back out to my Jeep being there again. It's almost as if the glitch didn't want to get caught glitching. Our final story is about a store that disappeared and was never there. One day, my mother and I were visiting a town a few hours from home as a little weekend getaway. They have a downtown that is full of shops and restaurants and such. We were walking through one day, and on the corner of one of the streets sat a few shops clustered together that looked like they were brand new built. One of the stores was a Thomas Kincaid store with all his paintings, which my mom is absolutely in love with. It was a small gallery with a store to purchase all of his pieces. We lost our home to a big wildfire a few years ago, and my mom lost her Kincaid painting that was hanging in the living room, which was just a small one that wasn't very popular of his. When we walked right in, the first painting straight in front of our faces was the painting that we had in the living room. We were a bit shocked and weirded out, but we continued to stroll around and eventually ended up in the store. The cashier was incredibly nice. She stated that his family opened this because Thomas used to visit the town often. We asked her if the store was temporary just because it was an art gallery and my mother didn't have enough money at the time to replace her painting. The lady said no. Thomas himself left money aside to open up a shop for him. My mother told her that we wanted a painting eventually and had the lady write down her number so we could call when we had the money. She also took my mother's number just in case the painting sold. We left and went back home. 3 months later, we got our wildfire money and headed to the town to get the painting. No answer on the phone call, though. We walked through the downtown and walked up the small hill. There was no building or store anymore. It was just gone. There was no construction anywhere, or anything. It just seemed like it poofed into thin air. We were so confused. We went into the candy store that faced the shop and asked the cashier if she knew what happened to the store. She looked at us confused and said she's worked there for years and that lot has always been empty. At this point, we were absolutely confused. We searched the internet and the yellow book pages. Absolutely nothing. We just shrugged it off and then went home. A few months passed again and my mom got a call. It was the lady, and she was asking if we were still interested in ever coming back. At this point, we were genuinely freaking out. My mom double-checked with her the address and everything. So we planned another little trip to head there. And when we walked to the same place we had walked a few months ago, there it stood. We asked the same lady if they had moved locations or anything within the past few months, and she looked at us confused. She said they have always been there. We bought the painting and left. No clue what happened there. We are still so weirded out and shocked. I'd go across the street again and ask the same candy store worker if they remembered me asking about the art gallery. Enjoy this video? Hit the like button and consider subscribing. Let's build up this community and make it the best one on YouTube. Until next time, see you on the other side.